transformation. Aries, Aries, and all those who love Aries, 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 and all those who love Aries. Aries, Aries, and all those who love Aries, 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 and all those who love Aries. All those who love Aries. Highest peaks. Groups. Underneath, criticism. Aries, Aries, all those who love Aries. Aries, 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 Aries. Aries. Ooh. Aries, Aries, and all those who love Aries, 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 and all those who love Aries. Aries, Aries, and all those who love Aries. Aries, Aries, and all those who love Aries, Aries, and all Woo! Eight of Swords underneath. Eight of Swords. I think that was it. Was it? Gentle Gardener, Sacred Pool, Compass, Moonlight, too many. Too many. Okay, Aries. Let's start. So this is your vision quest. This is going to be the story of your spiritual journey once the solar eclipse is enacted. So the solar eclipse is a jumping off point to this vision quest. And usually during a new moon it takes 6 months to harvest. So 6 months from now, this is going to be a progression from now until 6 months from now, as activated by the solar eclipse in like 2 days. I'm going to try to get these out before, but I don't like to do them too soon. So anyway, Aries, let's start. First we have the Hanged Man, and in this deck he is suspended from, well, it looks like he's not tied, but he is suspended in a glass box filled with water, kind of like Houdini, and he's holding his breath and the audience is watching, and the suspense is building up within the audience. But he knows that he can get out because that's part of his magic trick. He has a key up his sleeve, and so he is sort of taking pleasure in having them wait. You know, he's providing this element of suspense because he likes to watch the audience squirm. Next we move into a lighthouse, the Three of Wands, and it shows someone who is signaling from off a cliff into what we assume is the ocean, and having ships come in and waving those ships in and being this force in the night that says, you are safe here. And it says, this is a safe harbor, this is where you land, this is where you stay. So you are flagging in those ships and waiting for them to come in. The next card we have, I've been getting this one a lot, and it's kind of like, it goes with this story. So this is a woman who, her house is on fire, and she's at the top of she's on the top floor, and she's yelling for help because she's trapped on the top. And there's a fire down here, and she doesn't know how to get out. So it's funny because we have two tower types of buildings. And there's a fire here, and fires here, and there's a fire at the bottom of this structure and a fire at the bottom of this structure. Okay. Next, as we move on, we have the Hanged Man again! 2 Hanged Men! So you're definitely in suspense, and this is part of a transformation. This is part of waiting, of sacrifice, of mercy, of forgiving those who have done you wrong. In this deck, he is hanging from a tree, and all of his money is falling out of his pockets. And like all of the Hanged Men, he's hanging upside down, and blood is rushing to his head. And as the blood rushes to his head, then he gains this new enlightenment. He gains this, by hanging upside down, he sees a new perspective, and it gives him an inner knowing, a different way of looking at things, and a boost of wisdom, of enlightenment, of illumination. And as you are transforming, as you are suspended, you know, something else that is transforming, that transforms when they're hanging upside down, I was thinking of caterpillars. They go into their cocoon, and the cocoons often hang upside down from the trees. So once the caterpillar is done harvesting in that cocoon, it emerges as this butterfly. And so all of these people, all of the people around you
are waiting for this emergence or have been waiting for this emergence. And you're keeping them in suspense because you haven't yet gestated, you haven't yet transformed, you haven't yet crystallized into that butterfly. So it's funny because here we have highest peaks, and it's like in this card you're on the bottom, you're not at the top, and then here you're at the top. And so it's like this kind of foreshadowing to look at the highest peaks, look at the top, look at, I think there might be a lack of attention to detail, like you're only focusing on the bottom and there's someone at the top who is crying for help at the highest peak. So let's see what this is. This is the Three of Staves. This is the Three of Staves. Oh my gosh! Okay, Aries. But this is the Three of Staves reversed, although I don't feel like reading these reversed. So, again, Three of Staves always means waiting for your ships to come in. In this picture, though, you see a dragon floating away, like floating off in the distance away from you. So as you're waiting for these ships to come in, you're also waiting for all those intruders, invaders, like the dragon, all those disturbances, I guess. All those that would seek to do you harm, to set your structures on fire. You're waiting for those to go away. Now next we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords, you have a Five of Chalices and the Five of Swords in groups. So there's someone in your group who you might not be paying attention to, and you need to, because it's like you're focused on the bottom of this group, and you know, you may not be aware of this dragon. You may not, because your focus is elsewhere. And perhaps this dragon, this ominous force in your life, has set ablaze the bottom of your structure. But there is someone in your group who is crying out for help. The Five of Swords is, and there's a dragon here too. Ooh, dragon. When I'm seeing, the Five of Swords is usually a card of debate, whether it's inner conflict or conflict within a group. And usually within that group, it speaks about shallow victories. It speaks about someone upping someone else, so they won, they bested the other guy, but no one really won because no one was fair. Like there wasn't good sportsmanship involved. But it can also just be a debate card, just inner conflict or external conflict. But it's usually a debate of words, a debate of logic, a debate of ideas. And so maybe there's this idea that's creeping into the group. It's kind of souring the experience. And it's sneaky. Like this dragon is like slithering in between these swords. These like dragonflies, these swords. And the swords are thoughts. So this dragon is slithering in between these thoughts and causing all these disruptions. But they are, this dragon is like this dark force that you don't see coming. Okay. Wishing well, wishing on a wishing well, kiss and tell. Okay, let me read. I like to read my oracle cards. And it's funny, we have a wishing well here, and we have water here. Water. Water in the harbor. Okay. Look at your contents. 135. Aries, desire is the sacred impulse for life. Feel it, but let go of all attachment to ownership. Desire is the most important impulse for creating life. Now you're seeing the relationship between desire and inspiration, and sensing that moment of truth when you feel the inception of new life. It is an aha moment when everything makes sense. Perhaps you recognize a soulmate or are conceiving a baby or an idea. The wishing well card awakens you to the presence of unseen forces that enable new beginnings. Divine intelligence activates the field of possibilities where new life is co-created in a magical way. Neither of you nor anyone else can know how or why this happens. It just does. To that end, you can't control the process of growth. Rather, you must step aside to be a channel for higher forces and relinquish any attachment to how this new creation should appear or when. Form your intention and take action by dropping the coin into the wishing well. Then trust in spirit. Prepare to be amazed. Right here, you're trusting in spirit, and when they said prepare to be amazed, it's like, that's a very magician type of phrase, right? Prepare to be amazed at my magic trick. Perhaps these conflicts bring about the best possible outcome within the group. I like to read the reversals. Oh, never mind. I don't want to read the reversal. Scratch that. Okay, let's get on to your angel cards. Aries, you have Caressa. You are at the end of a cycle in your life. Call upon your angels to comfort you and guide you to your next step. Happiness awaits you now. And then you also have Rosetta. You bring a gift for working with young people, and your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, and parenting children. I get kids a lot with Aries. Like Aries and Libra. They always get kid cards. So let me try and piece some of the rest of this together. Perhaps if you reach a crossroads within these relationships where there's a lot of conflict and there's, like, you know, fire in the building, when there are arguments, when this dragon is slithering in, perhaps that would be a time to go to a child. To seek advice from children, because, like, whenever you're a teacher, you could be a daycare, you could manage a daycare or teach children, or just be like an awesome grandmother. But either way, whenever you are a teacher, whenever you're teaching children, as you are teaching, you're learning yourself, like repeating what you have learned helps you learn it again, and helps you learn more than what you assumed you knew. And children are great teachers too, because children see things from a different perspective. And perhaps through these children, you see the world through a different perspective. You see the world through childlike eyes. So you're able to hope and wait for your ships to come in. But it isn't always manifested in groups. And you could be dealing with a group of children where there's conflict, and sometimes kids They're so sweet and they're so funny and I love working with them, but they are wild. And so whenever you take care of one group and make sure, you know, this kid isn't hitting this other kid, then another kid might be swinging from the chandeliers or, you know, drawn crayons on the wall. So you may be in a position where you're having to deal with a lot of different energies, the different energies of your children or your grandchildren or your students. For those of you who are teachers, this could be going back into the classroom and you've been suspended for the summer, like been in a transformation period during the summer. And yeah, if you are a teacher and you've been on this summer vacation, then this might be you moving into a new way of teaching, a new way of connecting with your kids. I keep seeing this mask right here, like a Mardi Gras mask. So I don't know what that's about. Masks. And it seems like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a wing here and a wing here. So it might be like over this wishing well, there's this entity, like this angel, and you can't see it, so it puts on a mask, like signs we get. Pay attention to signs, like those are, like you wouldn't otherwise be able to see them, but an invisible man puts on, you know, this mask to show you that they are real. So this invisible entity puts on these signs to show you that your experiences are real and they might link up to wishes coming true. I hope that was a good reading, Aries. This has been your Vision Quest reading for the solar eclipse on the 21st. Is it the 21st or the 20th? I forget. But hopefully that was a good message, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.